She's a member of the Sports Hall of Fame in her native Prince Edward Island, an inductee into the Canadian Golf Hall of Fame back in 2016, and now Lorie Kane, a member of Canada's Sports Hall of Fame. When you hear that, another achievement of this stature for the mantelpiece, Lorie, what do you reflect on?
I reflect on how the heck did I get here? First and foremost, I have to thank those that put my name forward for this wonderful honor in the Order of Sport. After that, Arash, I'm pretty numb. I'll be honest, pretty numb.
Understandably, and you talk about that journey. I mean, Lorie, for so many, there's not a set path for golfers to get to the pros, but your journey is pretty unique. No Division I scholarship. You went to Acadia University, but you didn't really become a full-timer on the LPGA Tour until the age of 31. How do you feel that your path to the elite level affected how your career unfolded?
Well, if you asked that question to my mom, she would say it was a normal path for me because I tended to do everything a little bit later. And I was pretty much a homebody. But golf was always part of what I did. I mean, my dad introduced me to the game when I was 5. I'm a multi-sport athlete. I wanted to be a professional athlete. I just didn't have a chosen sport at the time. You know, and looking at how young people get to the pros now, I mean, Brooke Henderson turns pro and doesn't go to college. Michelle Wee turned pro at probably the youngest at 16. I definitely wasn't there, and I also don't think that when I was 16, I don't think anybody thought of that. So, my path is my path. I'm glad I did what I did. It took me a little while to get to the tour. I'm wishing now that maybe I always had 10 extra years. I know when I got to 40, people said, well, why are you still playing? And I said, well, if you gave me a grace of 10 years, you wouldn't be asking me that question. So, yeah, I was a little late to the party, but wow, it's been a heck of a ride, and I still love what I do.
And when you arrived, I mean, you arrived with a bang. I mean, you joined the tour in 1996. By 1997, you're the Canadian Female Athlete of the Year. You're getting a lot of results, 34 top 10 finishes before you finally won that first tournament.
Well, here she is, 9 second-place finishes in her career. The job is done, the dream has come true, and there she goes. A little of the Anheuser-Busch product to celebrate Lorie Kane's first career victory.
I think I've waited my whole life for this, and I'm going to have a nice cold beer to celebrate.
It was in Missouri, and it was an emotional Lorie Kane when you finally, after knocking on the door, were able to get over the hump. Lorie, what did that first title mean for you and ultimately your career to propel you forward, do you believe?
You know, people often ask what, you know, like you're asking now, what defined that day? And Arash, I was home on PEI the week before. The Du Maurier series had come into the Maritimes to play at Brudenell, the course that I was basically introduced to the game on. And I remember being out somewhere in the back of the golf course thinking to myself, watching my friends play and thinking, you know, I've really come a long way. I'd been told I was too nice to win. I've been told I didn't have quite what it took to get over the finish line. And so when I went to St. Louis on that week as well, I mean, the story goes, Mark Messier was traded from Vancouver back to the Rangers, and Mark talked in his press conference about winning is an attitude, and then he was bringing that attitude back to the room in New York. That was my mantra for the week. Danny said to me, you need to watch his press conference. You're a big fan of Mark's. And so that's what I did. And I went to St. Louis determined that I was the only one that was going to be able to make a difference. Now, Sunday's round, we had a 2.5-hour rain delay. Corey Webb lit it up starting out. I'm on the 13th hole watching her go to the 18th hole, and I'm saying to myself, Webby, get to the clubhouse because you're running out of holes, and I'm not letting anyone have this one. So it was a big week.
There was a stretch there in the late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, you were the face. You and Mike Weir were the faces of golf in this country. What was that like for you when people spoke about golf in Canada, that immediately the reaction becomes you, that that you're the one who's the face of it?
Well, it's flattering, but it's nerve-wracking too, because I come from a place, my parents taught me to leave it better than I found it. And so I'm all in. And what the founding members of the LPGA Tour did for me to give us a place to play, to the great Canadians, Jocelyn Barassa, Sandra Post, Don Co-Jones, Gail Graham, all of the Canadians welcomed me with open arms. And I felt it was my responsibility to keep building. And when we did ultimately lose the titleship with Des Moines, and Golf Canada took over the realm for the Canadian Open, you know, there's a responsibility for me to continue to help build women's golf, but also women's sport. I mean, I am an athlete, and I think in our country we can do better. And with this honor, I hope I'm able to lend support where it needs to go.
And part of that legacy in growing the game and growing women's sport, you mentioned her earlier, is Brooke Henderson, who has taken not only the Canadian golf world, but the global golf world by storm. How gratifying is that as part of your legacy, Lorie, that you helped pave the way for somebody like Brooke?
Well, I don't know that I guess, thank you for saying that. I think we all have a job to do, and Brooke has definitely taken her job quite seriously, and I'm extremely proud that she's doing what she's doing, and that she's Canadian, that she's got a great support team. I like what she and her sister Brittany get to do together on the golf course. I think that helps. You know, I've said it 1,000 times and I'll say it again. She has that extra little bit of something. The fact that she played goalie as a kid, maybe, you know, I've often thought, as we know as Canadians, that goaltenders see things differently. They can't be afraid of being in the limelight. So Brooke is carrying a lot on her shoulders. But what I love is when she tees it up, she's there, she's in the game. And, you know, she's doing unbelievable. I just hope that it continues for her. And the sky's the limit as far as I'm concerned.
So Lorie, 4 career victories, a member of the Order of Canada. We mentioned the 99 top 10 finishes in your career, more than $10 million earned in prize money, Canadian dollars. And you've played the Canadian Open a record 29 times. When you reflect on this career, what are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of? That I did it differently, that I did it my way, that I've had a huge amount of support, and probably most important, I haven't done this on my own. You know, I was a kid that school was difficult, but I kept smiling, and people often ask, what's the smile about? And I said, well, the smile is just how I act. It doesn't tell the full story, but it's a determination that I had to be the best. And like I said earlier, I really want to leave it better than I found it, and I still think there's work to do.
From Prince Edward Island to Acadia University, the LPGA Tour, and now Canada's Sports Hall of Fame. Lorie, thank you for the time, and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Arash.